Hello, everybody, and welcome to ProblemSolvHer, a really fun and cool and innovative podcast for men and women of all ages. I had a little FOPA. It's only 4 o'clock. I should have had more coffee, Dagmar. It's for men and women of all ages to inspire each other and to motivate. And when I say of all ages, we have the youngest guest we've ever had on. So before I introduce the boss is in the house. Dagmar's in the house. Chloe's in the house. Woo!
Yay!
So everybody, I'm going to give you the quick little background. Simone Moss is Stacey Moss's daughter, who's a very close friend of mine. And she's the youngest adult we've ever had on Problem Solve Her. She's soon to be 19. But at a very young age, she's already accomplished so much. And like her mother, who was a ranked tennis player back in the day, Simone has decided to go into sailing as a competitive sport. And it's one of the only sports, I think it is the only one, you can tell me if I'm wrong, where men and women compete together. So this is a very disciplined young woman who's now in college at a military school, and talk about more discipline and more focus. So, Simone, welcome to Problem
Thank
Solve Her,
you.
and we're
I'm
so
so
happy to
excited to
have
be
you.
here. Yay. Thank
It
you.
is so exciting, and you better make sure all your friends watch your episode.
I will. They're all really
First,
excited to watch.
they're all ready to rock and roll. I
Yeah.
love that. Bring on the younger women and men. First and foremost, I want to hear a little bit about your childhood growing up and how you decided to become a competitive sailor.
Right. So growing up, and you've already talked to my mom and you know her. It was just my mom and I growing up. So she was a big influence on me to get into sports. And she tried to get me into a lot. So she tried gymnastics and she tried soccer and she even tried tennis. And I remember she tried to put me in tennis and it was like her biggest dream for me to go into that. And I was like, no, it's not going to work. And so by chance, I applied to go to some summer camp at Lauderdale Yacht Club where we live. And I got it and I went to summer camp. And since then, I fell in love. I returned back. This was like in elementary school, but I returned back and I started competitively sailing in like a younger unit. And then as I moved up, I moved to the bigger boats. And then I finally went to high school for sailing and it just flowed from there. And now it's taken up almost my whole life, which is crazy to say now. But yeah.
I love that. And explain to us how men and women are allowed to compete together in the sport, and also kind of, because when I think of sailing growing up and I think of my club when I grew up in New York, it was
Mhm.
like, you know, very basic
Right.
training, and really just to be able to, if you were out there on the Long Island Sound, God forbid something happened, you know how to act fast and you know how to stay safe. So explain to us a little bit about the different aspects of sailing and how you do it competitively and how men and women are allowed to compete together.
Right. So at a youth level, we have intergender competition and it's only really when you get to like the Olympics and world level stages and different disciplines of boats when you're doing pro sailing, that's when they divide the genders, but almost all of youth sailing is all men and women. So you could have, especially for double-handed boats, you could have a man and a man competing against a woman and a woman or a man and a woman. It's all the more I would say, like, the physical advantages that you think that you would have, you have to just train past them, and there's no excuse for that in sailing because we're all the same, and we're all on the same race course, which has been crazy for me because even when I sailed as a single person in my boat, I was competing against other boys, and even if we were in middle school or high school or what have you, you're still thinking about these physical advantages they may have, and you just know that the only person to hear your excuse is yourself, so you just have to keep training past what you think that those advantages is what they have, if that makes sense.
I love that mindset for you at such a young age to be that intellectual and to take all of that out and say, because you think about a sport and it's a man, you go, ooh, maybe there's some challenges and you're intimidated and you're like, nope, let's do this. So explain a little bit how the competitive side works in terms of racing against a man or a woman and how many are on the team, just kind of so people have a visual and some aspects,
Right.
and tell your first story of your first competition, if you
So
remember it.
funny. Tell
You
you like
should. You're
one
very young.
I
You're
can
almost
tell you
19.
one of my favorite memories. I think there's a few different types of racing. There's fleet racing, team racing, and there's a lot of different types of boats and different types of courses you can do. So what I grew up sailing were Opties, little Optimists, and it was a one-person boat. It was kind of like a glorified bathtub. And so that's what we grew up sailing in. And it's definitely not the most like physical and tactical, like, because we're all not even in high school, so it's a very low level. But when I got older in high school, I did club sailing, and that was in club for days, and so that's a person in the back of the boat and a person in the front of the boat, and I'm a crew, so I'm always the person in the front of the boat. And that is where you get into the combos of sailing against maybe a male pair, a both male pair, or having what you usually see is a male skipper, a male driver, and a female crew, which is what I am. And then sometimes you see, this is kind of like a unicorn. Well, not much anymore, but when I was sailing, it was kind of a unicorn to see a double female boat. And my favorite thing to see was a double female boat winning a race, or seeing them crushing at the top of the fleet, not even just winning the all female, like top female award, like winning the top award. That was, no matter, even if it wasn't me, that was like my favorite thing to see. When I was just starting out, I had a lot of inspirational girls to look up to, and it was even better when they got into those all female combinations. And I would say my favorite memory is a few years ago, I was at a club regatta, and the windier it is, the harder it is for you to like manage your boat and for you to keep your boat flat, because it takes some muscle power. And I remember my skipper, who was a female, so we were an all-female team, my last ever summer sailing clubs. It was honking in California. It was like 6-7 foot waves. It was crazy. It was like 30 knot gusts. Everyone was flipping over. And I think it was like the last race of the whole competition. And we're sailing upwind and we're going along, and there's this boat with two really heavy males working their boat. And we were like, let's lock in, and this would make our whole regatta if we just passed them. And so we like hunkered down, and we worked hard the whole time. By the time we made it to the end of the race, we had passed them and like breezed by them. And so it was just
Wow.
like, no matter what advantages you think someone else may have, it again proved to me like it's all mental. Like, whatever you think your physical capabilities are, you can go so much farther than that, and so much farther than what anyone thinks that, or anyone thinks to tell you that you can go.
How do you do it, Simone? How do you do it mentally that you
Well,
have the capability of winning?
I mean, it's been hard for me, especially transitioning into this new part of my life. I think that it was easy for me to get over that in sailing, but when you apply that to other parts of your life, like academically, and in other parts like running, has been really hard for me. I think, again, telling myself that whenever my brain tells me no, like you can't do anymore, I know I'm only halfway done. Like, I know my body has so much more to give. And when you're in a situation where we do PT here every morning, where I have to give more, that gets me through. But I think I have a mentality of like, I want to be the best one day, and that doesn't just come for free. Like, you don't just like say you want to be the best and then you get there. But there's people waking up earlier than me. There's people that are working harder than
What
me
time
and
do you
doing
wake
it
up?
for that. We wake up, my weekday alarm is 5:30, and we start
I'm
PT we
dreaming
start PT
about Brad
at
Pitt at
5:50.
5:30. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, we start PT at 5:50. And it's like, it's not great, but I think when I stop making excuses to myself, like, my leg hurts, so I'll just stop running right now. The only person that hears that excuse is me. Like, I'm the only person that is a disadvantage from my excuse. Like, no one else wants to hear that. So when I stopped making so many excuses for myself and just started putting in the work, it's affected me mentally. It's affected my like PT results. It's really helped me, especially this year.
Dagmar, can you believe at such a young age she has so much inspiration already, and she's so intelligent and totally focused, which I love because a lot of people your age have no focus or drive. Zero.
I'm pretty sure a lot of Stacy put structure in. So
Oh
if
yeah.
you so
Yeah,
if structure is in your blood, it helps for
right.
sure. And then it's your personality. Like, how do you see life? How do you approach life? What do you believe what life should give you? Yeah, what's your beliefs and your faith?
Right.
Do you use your faith?
I do. I'm a Christian, and I'm a very proud Christian. I was raised Catholic, and I'm transitioning to more of a non-denominational Christian part of my life right now. And the best thing that I can say that I'm so proud to say is I do it all for the glory of God. Like, I do everything I do, no matter how hard something is. I know I don't want to hear my own excuses, but I really know that God doesn't want to hear my excuses. Everything that I do and everything, it's for me to improve, but it's also to give back to God for giving me my life. And I can talk about this for hours. Like, everything you do in your life, in my life, can be traced back to what God gave me. So if I'm eating healthy, when my friends told me this, and it stuck with me this whole year, if I'm eating healthy, it's not just me eating healthy, but it's me glorifying God because I'm nourishing the body that He made me. Or if I'm working out and I'm putting time into myself, it's me taking care of the body that God gave me to use on earth. And if I'm treating others with kindness, and if I'm motivating my peers, it's me helping strengthen God's kingdom here on earth. So it's just so much of what I'm trying to do and trying to improve. Yes, it's like for me, and yes, it's for trying to improve my life here on earth, but so much of it is it's all for God.
I
That's
think what you
beautiful.
just said, I think it makes a difference if you have a goal in life, what you work toward, and how much is it worth to you, right? Like, a lot of people can just say the right thing, but the execution is really where
Right.
Action.
I've had a lot of
the
experience with that in the
suffering, the
last year.
blood, the pain, and
Yeah.
everything lies, right? Like,
Mhm.
we all dream about the beautiful life, like, not from a faith perspective, like in general, like this paradise life, right? Everything falls in just a second to have a wild kitty.
Oh, my
Um,
goodness.
look, that's
There's
my
a lot of
Why?
kitties.
my skinniest
So
and my youngest
cute.
and my most feisty one.
Aw, hi,
And
cutie.
like, looking back and listening to you, your approach to life, and especially what you said at the end about how you approach the faith in every day, makes a difference if you have an holistic goal, or if you just have a business goal, or just a
Right.
relationship goal, or just a health goal, right? Because you
Mhm.
can be very successful in your health goal or in your relationship goal, but then the other ones suffer.
Right.
So yeah, you're healthy, but you're miserable because you're not in a relationship, or you're miserable because you're in a relationship, or you're miserable because you're not successful in business, but you're still healthy.
Right. And I would say
But
that
also, that's a life goal. Those are life goals. I don't
right.
look at it as one or the other, as sports or business or health. Life goals. You want to be well rounded in all areas, if we can be, but we're going to lack in some places. Like,
Right.
some of us like chocolate every night, like Dagmar and I. We need our sweets every night. I'm trying not to have any tonight.
No,
I'm switching
I'm
to
the
fruit,
same.
Chloe.
It's all I
Do you
mean,
have a sweet tooth?
oh yeah, it's bad. I mean, I think that yes, I say all this, but it's also all about balance. Like, when you set a big goal, it's really hard. Like, even like right now, like my goal is to graduate in commission, and that's it. That's like 5 years from now. And that's a really long-term goal, and like be one of the best in my class. That's going to be hard to accomplish, and the way to accomplish that, you can't just go all out for 5 years. The way to do that is balance. Like, everyone needs balance in their life, and it's not restricting yourself, and it's not making time for yourself. Like, yes, I can put as much time as I want into working out and studying and obsessing over school and obsessing over military life, but I'm never going to feel fulfilled if I don't make time for myself and God. So I always allow that balance. Or if I don't have a sweet treat like every other night, like, I won't feel the
Absolutely.
same.
But also, and this is something I noticed with your generation, it either goes one way, they're either lazy or they put a lot of pressure on themselves to be the best. This whole notion of I have to be number one now, I don't feel like that's the short term. If you're looking at long-term goals, and by the way, I just want to let you know a lot of what you just said about sailing is exactly the same in tennis. It's mental, it's, yes, you have one other person, but you were sailing alone, right? So I look at it as like singles and doubles. There's a lot of correlations there. And when you're in a sport, that is mostly mind driven, right? Where there's only one or two people in the sport, as opposed to basketball and football. When you're in a big group team sport and there's a lot of other support around you, you have mental. So that's probably another reason why your mental side of your brain is really strong. And because of what Dagmar said, your mom, single mom raising a daughter, your mom's fierce and bold and amazing and very driven, and she's very structured, which she gave you because structure. I always say that if a kid picks up a sport early, they will have to learn structure, and they have
Right.
no other choice. And it helps give you focus, and it helps see. You're too young to know this phrase, but keep you off the streets, meaning
I
like you
know.
won't get in.
My mom
Oh, you know
my
that one?
mom
I
knows
love that you
that.
know that. Yeah, so
Caleb.
right, it keeps kids off the streets. They don't get into trouble and they don't get into things that they shouldn't be doing. That being said, and I'm sure that you and a lot of your peers talk about this because I feel like you're involved, and you and I have spoken about this previously because we've spent some time together about surrounding yourself with the right core group of people. Because I know you have male friends and female friends. And I want you to talk a little bit about how that affects, your daily life and your structure and what your goals are. Who you surround yourself with has a big impact on that. Does it
Right,
not?
so yeah, it really does, and I take you are who you surround yourself with really seriously, especially now. And I just wanna say before we go into the friend part, I have not always been this motivated as I am right now, like, pretty much before this year. I did work hard in high school, and I did work hard to get to where I am, but the goal was to get here. And so I became kind of complacent because my standards were a little bit not my standards weren't as high as they were to get here. And so now that I'm here, I'm getting more and more. And this year is kind of to get to the goal of next year. And every single year I get more motivated and more as as the structure increases, my motivation increases. And so that's kind of how my life has worked. But in terms of my friends, I think that the right friends can be your biggest motivators and the wrong friends can be the biggest people to drag you down. And I've noticed just in viewing people's friendships and having friendships in high school and now in college, sometimes a person that you're not friends with at all and that you don't like could be better than having a friend who like secretly despises you in a way and is like preying on your downfall, if that makes sense. Like there are people who will just never want to see you succeed and never be happy for you and will complain and be negative. And I think everyone goes through hard things in their life. And so that might be you in a season of your life where you're going through something hard and it's really hard for you to be positive. But the thing I value the most is no matter what I'm going through in my life now, I can have the worst day and my best friend can have the best day. And I'm still going to put on a smile for her and make sure I let her know that I'm celebrating her successes, if that makes sense. It's been like really hard for
We
me to get
love
to
you
that
for
point.
that. We
Yeah, I
love you
mean,
for
like
that.
I would
That's
say
amazing.
a year ago today, I was going through a lot. In high school, I went through a lot, which I won't really get into, but it was so hard for me to understand that. And I honestly, like, it really had to take me coming to Jesus again and like really working through that. But now I can really positively say it doesn't matter what kind of day I'm having, the person next to me is going to have like the best day if it's up to me. So, and especially for females. And so I'll talk more about the male female thing now. So, obviously, in the military, there's historically a lot more men. And now it's becoming pretty like I would say here it's like pretty even split. Like we have a lot of females, which
Really?
means yeah, it's been really, really nice and it's really inspiring to see a lot of other girls work so hard and be right next to me and have similar goals to me. Like before this, I got out of class and I went on a run with one of my friends who I'm also in Bible study with. And it's just like moments like that where we can celebrate our wins together and we can work hard toward our goals together. Small moments like that are like my favorite thing. Like it makes it all worth it. Sorry. Anyways, I would
We love
say
your
that
enthusiasm and your love for life. It's nice to see a young person really passionate about something.
I'm glad. I would really say that my whole life I've had a core value, and I don't know if this is just because it was just my mom and I in the house growing up, or because I've always had predominantly female friends, but I'm a self-described girl's girl. So I'm always going to gravitate
Yes.
towards females more. I'm always going to
We are
gravitate
all
towards
about
getting,
the girls,
yeah,
girls.
I'm all about my female friendships. And since you all know I'm an only child, I find my sisters in my closest friends. And so I find my sister and like my roommate, or I'll say her, my friend Daniela, who I know is going to watch this. I find like sisterhood in my friends that do the same thing that I just described for me. So even if I know they had the worst day and I had something great happen to me, they're not going to make me feel bad for saying how happy I'm going to be. So, yeah.
I love that. And do you find that people your age, and it's great that you have these really these friendships that you value so deeply. I remember when I was your age and I was, because in high school I was like, I was the coolest in high school. I'm going to be straight up. I'm not here to like pretend I wasn't. I won funniest, coolest car.
Right.
I was just cool, right? And at that time when I was a senior and my brother was a freshman and he came in, it was like on a silver platter. I'm like, here's everything to do. And I was like, oh my God. And all his friends like, this is so cool. Your sister like runs the
Right.
school. She's a senior. But when you get to college, you're not a big fish and you're small in this
No,
big
it's
pond.
not like
And
that anymore.
it's not like that at all. And it took me,
Right.
I mean, I made friends pretty quickly because I can do that just like you can. But I remember thinking, wow, I'm not the big cheese here. I have to realize like once you get to college, there's thousands and thousands of people and the classes are bigger and there's all these different things going on. But I love what you said. If you have your core group, the whole thing about the importance for me and Dagmar, I know you agree, and Simone, I think you will too, about friendships is if you, there are people you can be your truly authentic self around. Your goofy, funny, weird, like sometimes odd
Yep.
behavior around, and they don't look at you and go, "What the?" And they're like, "Girl, just do you, boo. No
Yeah.
judgments, no
A friend
opinions."
who matches my
Those
energy
are
is
the
my
people you
favorite.
need to be around your whole life, really,
Right.
no matter what age you are.
Right. And I'm lucky that I found my girls like that now. And I'll just say, like, I have a lot of female friends here that I love and I can call my sisters. And I do have male friends and I do like love them in a brotherly way. And I mean my best friend is a guy, my best friend of 5 years. But he connects with me on an emotional way. And I think a big thing I value in my friendships and relationships are being able to connect emotionally. And that's where I struggle with so many of my male friendships because they just, let's just face it, like guys my age are not very emotionally intelligent. So it's hard for me to have a meaningful relationship or friendship with someone when they can't recognize their own emotions, when we're having a conversation and they're having this realization like, maybe I'm just angry and maybe I feel this way. And it's like, I had that realization in like fifth grade about my emotions. Like, we're not on the same, we're not on the same maturity level. So it's easier for me to have these conversations with my girlfriends just because that's just how the maturity levels played out in our generation.
Well, Dagmar, we talked about this earlier on another podcast about the relationships between men and women. I have a lot of guy friends. As you get older, and you'll see this more, unfortunately, not until your 30s, because it's true, women mature a lot faster than men do. As you get older and men come into their own, they are a little bit more emotionally intelligent, and some of them will open up, and their feminine side will come out instead of being so super masculine all the time, and they'll be vulnerable with you. And I think it's nice to have friendships like that where there's no sexual chemistry or there's
Hmm.
no, like you said, like a brother. Like this is like a brother to me. And I trust this guy and I can go to him with everything. Now, I want to know also, and we don't have to talk about this because I know it's strict in the military, but just dating at your age in general, what that's like. Because I remember when I was your age, dating was first of all, it was so much fun and it was great. But remember, just like they weren't men then; they were boys. You're a boy at 19, I don't, or 18. I don't care what they
It's
tell
the
you; they're not
same.
men yet.
It's the same now,
It's the
to be
same,
honest.
right? Nothing's
Yeah.
changed.
I mean,
See,
I
Dagmar, it's
mean,
all the
it,
same.
yeah. It's different from high school to college, obviously. I mean, in high school, obviously, no one's getting married and stuff, but here, I'm going to school with people who are engaged or married already. And so I'm like, I got here and I'm like, I'm going to school with people and dealing with things that are way beyond my maturity level sometimes. But then I also, in the same sense, I have classmates who I can't even have an emotional conversation with them because it just blows my mind. It just blows my mind. And so it's hard for me to get into something like that when I don't have someone to like match a maturity level. But I just decided right now, and I talk to a lot of my friends about this all the time, because we talk about, obviously, when girls are friends, boys is a natural subject to come up. It's just everyone likes to talk about it.
Honey, it happens
But
at every age. Yeah.
I've just spent so much time in high school and a lot of my life putting so much energy into relationships or boys or unnecessary drama, that in the past few months, when I've started focusing on myself and putting an energy that I would have put into another boy or into a relationship, and I put that into improving or even into the most important relationship, which is my relationship with God, I've just noticed these changes in my life, and I've noticed clarity in my head. I've noticed I've had less anxiety. I've just noticed that my life became so much more peaceful when I stopped trying to pursue a relationship with a man. And that's literally all I did. I stopped chasing and I stopped worrying. I even like I wouldn't wear makeup to school. I know that doesn't sound revolutionary, but like to like people here, it's like I just
We
stopped
barely
caring.
wear makeup here on this at all. So you're not
Right.
telling us anything new.
Right. I'm like, I really just stopped caring. And now it's like, I wear makeup again just to feel good about myself. Like I feel great and I feel secure in myself. And I can't, if somebody else told me, oh, Simone, you're not anything or you're not worth anything, I genuinely wouldn't believe them now. Like I wouldn't let what a man says get to me because I'm just that confident because
Never.
of the time and effort I
And
put
never
into myself.
chase, like you said.
Right.
Never, ever.
Well, I learned that lesson.
Well,
Yeah.
it's going to happen over your time. You're still young.
Right.
You're going to meet another guy. You're going to be like head over heels
Right.
about crazy about. You'll chase for a little
Right.
bit, then you'll come back down to reality, and then
Yeah.
everything will reset. But I love what
Right.
you just said, and I wish more girls your age would do this. And it's hard because everyone's insecure when they're younger. Even as grown adults, we have some insecurities. But Dagmar and I talk about this. I don't give one rat's ass what anyone has to say about me. We've spoken about this, Dagmar. Someone could come up to me in the street right now and be like, "Oh, your dog's really cute. You're not," or "You need to lose 10 pounds." Or I'd be like, "Bye, bye, bye. Don't take your insecurities out on me. I don't have time for this. Bye, bye, bye." You do things for you. If you want to put on makeup, you do it for yourself. If you want to wear a cute little outfit because you're in very good shape, then you put
Thank
that
you.
outfit on. Everything you do should be for yourself and nobody else. Period.
Right. Right. I agree.
Very important. So
Yeah.
if you were to tell people your age, if there was one, we call it like a takeaway, if there's any advice or anything you'd like to say to your peers and, your age group, what would your like strong message be to them in a very simplistic way without getting into.
Think that a big misconception in our generation is that it's really hard to transform your life into something that you want to be, and it takes a lot of work, but it really just starts with an idea and a goal. And it starts with you deciding that not it's just like January 1st or not, it doesn't take a new month to do something. You could decide like right now to get up and go work towards whatever you want. It doesn't have to be a fitness goal. It doesn't have to be an academic goal. It doesn't have to be anything that fits into anyone else's needs other than your own. So, like, if you think about what you need in your life right now and what you want to improve, I can guarantee anyone listening could think about something they want to improve in their life. There's nothing stopping you from stopping the excuses around that and starting to do it today. And that's something that I have used and something that's really helped me in the past year.
I love that for you.
Simone,
That's beautiful.
what do you do to stay on the goal? Because I'm pretty sure there are many, many, many who have a goal, start with the goal, but don't stay on the goal.
Right. So I make my goals realistic, and it's been hard. Like it's been a learning process for sure where I'm like, okay, I'm going to go out and I'm going to run 5 miles. And that's a lot for me. And then I get to mile 2 and I'm like, it's not happening. So you have to set a realistic goal, and it's meant to suck a little bit, and it's meant to get hard because you would never really be proud of a goal you accomplish if you didn't have to get through a hard time to get through it. But recognizing hard times versus impossible times has been really important for me to understand. And I would just say motivation is great and having fire and passion for anything is great, but that's eventually going to go away, especially when you have a hard goal or a long-term goal. So understanding that you have grit in yourself and you have perseverance, you just have to prove it to yourself that you have it. That's been the biggest thing that's driven me. And I've been realizing that I'm discovering my grit. I've been realizing that I'm capable of things I never even thought were possible. And that means that y'all are too. My mom is capable of anything that she can put her mind to. It's been like amazing to see her realizing that and going through that at the same time that I am. And any girl, like I see any girl and I see them working toward their goal and I'm like, she is capable of so much and she doesn't even know it. And she's gonna find out one day. Like it makes me so happy to think.
That's
I
beautiful.
love that you not only are inspired by other women, but you want to inspire them. Grit's a great word. People don't use it that much anymore, but
I hear
it
it
has a lot,
every
it
day
packs a
here.
lot in there. But having
Right.
realistic goals, like you said, you have to be realistic. That is why in Dagmar, we spoke about, I don't believe in New Year's resolutions. That's the biggest baloney. It's like, it's a selling point for the new year. It doesn't mean anything because I can say on January 1st, I'm not eating chocolate or I'm not having a glass of wine this entire month. And then 2 days later, I'm sitting there and I had a really, a tough day and Oliver and I are on the couch and I'm eating a piece of chocolate and I'm having a glass of wine. It doesn't matter. It's all about, at the end of the day, what have you accomplished? It could be in the next 3 days, it could be in a month, it could be in 6 months. But I want people should look back and say, what have I accomplished? And write those things down and say, oh, wait, I achieved more than I thought I was going to the next few days. There's nothing like, I'm old school, I write everything down, crossing something off the list every day. 2 things, 3 things, 5 things. And don't be a procrastinator. I feel like a lot of people procrastinate and push things off,
Yeah.
especially young people. Just do it and get it
Done
over
that
with.
all throughout high school. I was the biggest procrastinator. The
It's
biggest.
okay.
Yeah.
It's going to happen again. It's things we don't want to do, so we push them to the side. Daggy, what's your takeaway?
I like grit. Remember
Right?
that we have grit and it's up to us to use it. And I think the most important what Simone said, you have to put a value. Oh my God, my kitties today. You have to put a value into your goals. You cannot just choose a goal what sounds good or what makes you feel good, but what's the value, right? Like I want to be healthier this year. Why? Why? Why do you want to be healthier? And how do you measure to be healthier? Yeah, just made grit. I really like grit. Really made me think about it. And that Simone said, you are capable of much more than you think.
Absolutely.
I think I have one more takeaway that I just thought of. I think a lot about how much time I've wasted. And I wrote my whole senior speech in high school about this, but I think about how much time I've wasted not working hard and not putting love into myself. And I would just say that at the end of your life, when you look back on everything you've done, you will never regret the times that you work hard and the times that you loved. Like, no matter how the outcome of your life turned out, you will never look back and say, I regretted working hard that day, or I regretted loving that person, or I regretted being kind to everyone that I came across. So that's just something that I took
That's
away from.
beautiful. But I will tell you one thing. You are so young to even be thinking when you get to your, honey, you're going to be 19. You can live another, ready? This is scary. Another 90 years. Okay.
Whoa! My goodness.
Another 90. I'm trying to live another 50, but not like seriously, you have to think about that. Or maybe it's not whatever it is. But I like that you have a part of you that's an old soul and you're a little bit more forward thinking than people your age. And my takeaway would be, and I'm basing this off of everything you just said because it reminds me, and there's a part of me that loves having these younger people in my life, like you, like a little sister, because Dagmar knows I'm an ageist and I want to be youthful and I'm all about staying younger. And I'm going to say I'm 39 or 40 for the
You
next
are
20 years. So
young.
it
You
doesn't
are
matter.
young. Both of you are young.
Where-ish is that you have to believe in yourself. Even when times are even, and you'll notice this as you get older and you're living on your own and you're paying all your own bills and you're like, you think about your finances for a minute, or all of a sudden you start to, like, I always say to myself, I believe in you. I believe in you. I believe in you, you as in me. I believe in myself. I know my worth. I know what I deserve. And I think it's really important for women to know that. Please know your worth and believe in yourself. And don't be afraid to be bold, to take chances, and to tell it exactly like it is and be real and raw and nobody else. That's all I have to say on the matter.
That was amazing. That was amazing.
Straight facts.
I think I needed to hear that. Like I believe in you. I believe in both of you, and I also believe in myself. And I think that can take you farther than anyone else's belief.
Before you go to sleep at night, literally be like, I believe in myself. I believe in you. I
Yeah.
believe in you. I believe in you. And when you wake up, do the same thing. When you're in a
Mhm.
situation where you feel, fight or flight comes in, you have to always believe in yourself. My friend said something to me years ago, a good friend of mine who's a big TV producer. And she said to me, I don't know why people stress about money and finances, because it's the number one thing that literally causes people to have certain diseases. Number one of why couples break up and marriages. And she said, money will always come. If you put that in your head, doesn't matter. Money will always come. And I was like, wow, that is so profound. Money will always come. You just have to think of that. Love, it's going to come. We have to believe in ourselves and not live so much in our brains on the hamster wheel. And we have to think about what we want, not what we don't want. You put out the energy of what you want. That's it. I don't want to hear about you don't want. Just like the excuses. You said, no one wants to hear about excuses. I want to hear about how you're going to solve a problem, how you're going to get something done, how you're going to work this out. I don't want excuses that's like radio talk. I don't want to hear it. It's the weather report. Let's stick with how we can come to resolution and figure things out and believe in you. That's my number one thing I'm always going to stress on here. If you believe in yourself, nothing will stop you. Nothing. Now, does that mean I can go out and get Brad Pitt tomorrow? No, but we keep the bar high.
Okay. We can dream.
So
It's okay.
I disagree with that thing because
You disagree with what?
I believe in you is all what you need. And here's why. I believe
You
to
can disagree.
myself,
I'm going to still say it on every episode.
especially women, we can believe in ourselves. That does not mean we believe we can do it. Because what holds us back, we have all these dreams and we're not doing them. Like we believe we can do this or that and that, never start it or don't finish it. And I think the core comes from, and I don't know where I read it, women as a core believe, will he rescue me? And at the end, there's nobody else who helps us overcoming that as we ourselves, that we rescue ourselves. And by believing we can do it, we're doing it. And like business wise, I see it a lot, that a lot of people have these dreams, these ideas. They talk about it, they plan it, they never execute it. And especially women I met during my business life in the last 12 years that want to do a bakery or a restaurant, all these beautiful things, which is very, comes from our core. It got stuck with that they just wanted to do this part, but not the business part. So they failed. So that's what I love about Simone. She realized she has to do it. And if a 2 miles run is unrealistically, or 5 miles, and she only can do 2 miles, she still does it 2 miles. And then next time she knows, and perhaps she does a 2.5 miles. And so she builds up on it.
I don't understand what you're disagreeing with my statement. I still don't. I'm unclear what you're.
I believe in myself is all what you need to change your life.
I see what you're saying. It's like you believe in yourself, but you also believe in your abilities, and you know yourself and you know your abilities. I mean, if I told myself I believe I can run a marathon right now, like that's just not realistic. But I believe that I could work myself up to a marathon in like a year. That could be realistic, but it would take a lot of work, and it would take me strengthening my abilities so that on marathon day, after I've done all that training and after I've done all of that work leading up to that, I can really confidently say now, after all that work, I really do believe that I can run a marathon because I believed in myself on that day that I could do it one day. If that makes sense?
Yeah, and you tried it. I mean, like you did it and you saw, could you do it or not? And then you can do other things and try other things. So not everything what we believe in is really what we're capable of.
Mm-hmm.
But by doing it, we can figure out what are we capable of. Does it make us happy or not?
Right. And I think someone told me that the thing that you should do, this is their belief, the thing that you should do the most of in your life and work the hardest on is the thing that you dislike the most, or the thing that you're the worst at. And since then, I've really tried to take time, and I don't know if I've told you all this, but math is like my biggest advice. Like, I cannot figure it out. It's the worst thing in the world. I can't do it.
I believe in myself, and that's my mantra, and I'm sticking to it. And whatever anyone else thinks is their opinion. I think if you believe in yourself, then you can set any goal you want to. I'm realistic in my goals. And if you could go out and say you want to jog 5 miles and you end up doing 2, you could say, today I'm going to accomplish these 10 things, and you end up doing 5. Whatever it is, believing in yourself can help you get to that next level and can help you reach certain goals, and in business, in life, in friendships, in relationships. And I think that part of that is having inner strength and confidence. If you're a confident person, then you'll be able to push yourself more and accomplish more, because people, unfortunately, that don't believe in themselves and aren't confident and have more insecurities, unfortunately find roadblocks. And that's okay, because we all have some insecurities. But at the end of the day, I think that you are way ahead of most. Simone, we love you, we hear you, and we see you. And we think that you've accomplished so much at such a young age. And
Yeah,
you're
you're
beautiful
beautiful
inside and out,
inside
just
and
like your
outside.
mother. I
Thank you
love
for
that.
coming on our podcast.
We hear
It's
you
really
and we
loud.
love you. It's okay. Don't worry about it. I actually
They're
can't even
playing
hear it.
No, I
Anyway,
don't.
you
It works.
you and your friends can find us on ProblemSolvHer.com now. Solve coaching sessions happening now. Instagram, ProblemSolvHer, the Hoods Girl, TikTok, YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. Thank you, Simone, the
Thank you.
youngest and ever to be on the podcast.
Just a quick note before we end. This conversation is for inspiration and empowerment only. It's not medical, mental health, or legal advice. We are not doctors, therapists, or lawyers. Just women sharing real stories and personal truth. Always seek professional guidance for your unique situation.